Cupcake Addiction. On today's episode, I'm going to be showing you how to make these super cute little cupcake burgers. We're also going to be making some cupcake fries. I love food disguised as other food, and I've done a ton of videos on various foods disguised as other foods, so make sure you check out my Cupcakes in Disguise playlist if you want to see more of these. Let's get started. The things that you'll need for today's tutorial: we've got some Rice Krispies or rice bubbles, some milk, some butter, a little bit of sugar. I'm using a serrated circle cutter, but a regular circle cutter would do. A fondant rolling pin, some scissors, a few spoons. I've got some melted dark chocolate, some melted green candy melts, a couple of eggs, some cornflakes. I've got some red frosting and some yellow frosting. I've got some sesame seeds, and I'm just using a packet mix today. I've got an ice cream scoop and a couple of Ziploc bags. Of course, I also have an electric mixer with a whisk attachment. Off to the side, I've got a couple of sheets of baking paper or greaseproof paper. I've also got a little template that I've made up for you guys for our little fries container. This is the most adorable thing in the world. So all you need to do is cut around that fries container, fold on the little lines there and tape it at the sides, and you've got yourself a little tiny fries container. And I've also got a cupcake tray. You'll also need a little bit of non-stick spray. Now the first thing that you want to do is you want to take your cake mix and just make it up. I'm making mine up as per the manufacturer's directions. Alright, so once your mix has finished mixing, you want to take your spray now and you just want to give your cupcake tray a really generous spray. The reason we want to give it a really generous spray is because we're not actually using cupcake liners and you don't want your cupcakes to stick here. Alright, now using your ice cream scoop, you just want to divide that batter into your little muffin cup holes or cupcake cup holes, straight in there, no cupcake liners. Perfect. Now before those go off into the oven, we're just going to give them a sprinkle with our little sesame seeds. Now I know some of you will be concerned about the flavour of sesame seeds, but the truth is sesame seeds actually don't taste like anything. If you put them on something savoury, they pick up the savoury taste. If you put them on something sweet, they pick up the sweet taste. And they really give us that impression of a proper little hamburger bun. You only want to put your sesame seeds on 9 out of your 12, not on the remaining 3, because those remaining 3 are actually going to be our fries. Pop those ones off into the oven so you'll know they're cooked when they spring back in the middle. Alright, so while your burgers are cooking, it's giving us some time to prepare our meat patties and also our lettuce. So it's as simple as taking your dark chocolate and your Rice Krispies, and we'll just scoop that in there and stir it all around. I've also got my wax paper handy for this. So you can see there I've sort of folded it in half. We want to sandwich our Rice Krispies in between these two halves. So just spooning out your delicious chocolatey rice bubbly mix and kind of just spread it out using the back of your spoon a little bit. Now sandwich your baking paper over and then just use your hands just to start pushing down. I'm just going to roll it out. You don't want these to be too thick because you want to bear in mind they're going to go in the centre of your cupcake, and if they're too thick the cupcake's not going to be easy to eat. Alright, so to have a quick look at that, you can see there it's really not very thick. We're not going to end up with a very thick Rice Krispie treat once we cut those in half. That can go off into the fridge to set, and then you want to do the same thing with your cornflakes and your melted green candy melts. This is going to make our lettuce. Best part about these burgers, great for vegetarians. Alright, once you're happy that you can't see any more of those yellow cornflakes, just scoop it out again onto that baking paper and just use your spoon just to kind of separate it out a bit. That's going to help it dry, and that's going to go off into the fridge just on a tray or something as well. So when your cereals come out of the fridge, you just want to take your little bits of lettuce and just break them up with your hand, or you can use a knife just to kind of roughly chop them and pop them in a bowl. Peel open your little Rice Krispies and they should be all nice and set. And you just want to take your cookie cutter. These actually cut really easily, but you just want to push in with quite a bit of pressure, lift up your little circle and then just use your fingers to pop it out. Those are going to be your meat patties, and you can see there how thin they are. So you do really want them to be nice and thin to make them easy for your guests to eat. You can now prepare your sauce and your cheese. So it's going to be as simple as just taking that yellow and red frosting and just scooping it into your Ziploc bags. Make sure you push that all the way down to the corner and let any air out before you seal the bag off. And then we're just going to snip a nice chunky corner off the end. So you want quite a thick and chunky corner there. Repeat that with the yellow. So coming back from the oven, and we've got our little cupcakes here with the little sesame seeds on top, very hamburgery. And then I've got my little ones without. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to decorate the ones without to look like French fries. I was originally going to use this really cool little wave vegetable cutter tool, but I found it actually squished my cupcakes because they're too soft and moist and fluffy. So I'm just going to use a serrated edge knife, and I'm just going to cut my cupcake into 3. Don't worry about any little brown edges. They're actually going to make your French fries or your chips look more realistic. And then just sort of trim off the edges so that you're working with nice little flat edges for your chips. And then you want to cut each of those into about 3 pieces. Now take your little French fries, or chips as we call them in Australia, and just roll them in that sugar. That's going to make them look like they're salted. Perfect. So now you just want to take your little French fries packet, and you can print those off. I will leave a link in the description box below. But you just want to fill it with your little French fries and make sure they're all different heights, and you've got a little bit of the brown edges facing forward and a little bit of the white edges facing forward, so they look kind of textured like normal chips. Beautiful. There's your little French fries ready to be plated up. And then moving on to our beautiful burgers. So with your burgers, you want to cut them about where this line is. So you kind of want a bigger base than you do with the top, because the top's really just the top of our hamburger bun. Lovely. Now I like to start with the cheese on the bottom layer. Everything that we stick on here has to be able to stick something else to it. Because if you end up putting, say, a meat patty straight onto your cupcake, it's going to have nothing to stick to, and it's going to come apart when people try to eat. So sticking to that cheese, on goes our meat patty, and then a little bit of tomato sauce. And then onto that tomato sauce, some of our nice little bits of green lettuce. The green lettuce doesn't have to go all the way into the center, but so long as it's kind of poking out the edges, you'll get that lettucey effect. Perfect. Now, because otherwise our top's going to have nothing to stick to, I'm just going to stick just another dollop of that red frosting right in the center, because I don't really want that poking out the sides. And then on goes our little top. There you've got your gorgeous little burger cupcake. You can also go a little bit further here, and you can add a little bit of tomato sauce to your French fries by just drizzling some of that red frosting over. I absolutely love these little burgers. I love food disguised as other food, and I think these are one of my absolute favorite cupcakes. I hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial. As always, thanks very much for tuning in.